All right, let's get going. So, I want to do something fun with you guys just to start out. It's just to kind of get your body going, just get the nervous system like calming and the brain flowing. And I think it's fun. And yeah, it'll be fun. We're going to do some like several experiential stuff today. So, we will start off with that. All right. And this is called The Rain, the Rainbow, and the Butterfly. I actually got this from a trauma therapist by the name of Linda Tai. And I just thought it was so fun and so, I don't know, just so relaxing is kind of how I feel. So we're going to be doing a lot of movement. So I will show you the movement. It's just, like I said, just to kind of get you going, let the nervous system and just have some fun before we start learning, since rhythm is about the rhythm of our system and how everything flows. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start off by getting everything flowing. So you don't have to have your eyes closed. There'll be moments where I'll ask you to close your eyes just so you can kind of experience it. But you do need to see me so you know how to do just some of the fun movements. The movements do not have to be strict or stringent. Do them how it feels good to you, because this is all about how your body moves and how you relate and connect to your body. Okay, so I just want you to, in your mind's eye, imagine that you are outside and it is a beautiful day. And I just want you to imagine, sense, feel however it comes through. I just want you to feel the air just gently touching your skin as you are standing outside. And just imagine that and how that feels. And even if you can, take a snapshot of how beautiful the day is. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a rainstorm comes in and you start running towards home. So start running, start moving your arms like you're running towards your home, and you're running as fast as you can. You're running, you're getting there. And as you're running, you can hear the rain just getting louder and harder. So you start running faster. And then you get to your house, you open the door, you turn around and you close it behind you. Then you begin to just shake off the rain. However you need to shake that off, wipe it off, shake it off. But we're just going to shake off all of that rain. And once you're done, you head over to your favorite place to sit. Maybe it's your favorite chair, a couch, a rocking chair, a giant lounger. And as you sit, you can still hear the rain outside. And it is so loud. And you can just hear it. And the rain is just loud. Then the rain begins to get softer, and then it gets softer and softer. And sometimes, even when the rain is soft, it picks up again and it starts to get louder. And maybe it gets louder and we can feel it in front of us. So we're going to lean forward into that. Maybe it gets louder behind us and we're going to lean into that behind us as far as you can. I can't go that far in my chair. And then maybe we just hear it more to the right of us. So we'll lean into that. And then maybe it's to the left of us. And maybe it's just where we're at. And then when the rain becomes this soft, we know that it's time to go back outside again. So we're going to go and we're going to walk to the door. We're going to open that door and we are going to step outside. And as you step outside, I want you to take your fingertips and just gently tap the top of your head. As you feel the softness of the rain just gently touching your head. And as you look up towards the sky, you can feel the drizzle just gently touching your face, all around your face. And in this, what we're doing is we're using the nerve endings in our fingertips to stimulate and tell all of these muscles that they're safe. And then maybe as the drizzle starts to fall, you just kind of rub it into your face. Just gently rub it into your face, feeling how good that feels. And as you do this, I just want you to notice what emerges for you. Maybe your breathing changes. Maybe you relax more into your body. Maybe emotions come up. And just allow yourself just to feel that and experience whatever comes forward. Then you open your eyes and you look out into the horizon. And in the horizon, you see this beautiful rainbow. So you start with your right hand and you reach across your body and you trace the bottom color of that rainbow all the way, creating an arc all the way around. Then you take your left hand and you trace the next color of the rainbow all the way around. And then you keep doing that for the next color all the way around. It gets a little bit taller. And we do it again. And what we're doing is we're just activating the side muscles in our body, because when our nervous system might be in a freeze response, we end up really hunkering down these muscles. And when we reach the center, we are stretching and activating those muscles. We are basically reconnecting them back to the diaphragm. We're just going to keep stretching them out. And when we connect them to the diaphragm. Still, I think I'm not quite awake yet. What I want you to do is I just want you to take a deep breath in and a long exhale out. And what we're doing is we're actually stimulating that vagus nerve that's connected to the diaphragm. We're just stretching it and exercising it. And then when you're all done, you can just kind of move your body. Just notice how it feels. And then you just take a minute to pause, to close your eyes and just smell the clean, fresh rain. So go ahead and just take a deep breath in and an even longer exhale out. And I just want you to just smell the rain. And then, upon opening your eyes, you see this beautiful butterfly. And now I'm going to invite you to just take your finger and trace the journey of this butterfly around, as maybe it moves from side to side, front to back, up and down, as it moves closer to you, maybe away from you. And as you trace it, one of the things I want you to do is I want you to follow it with your eyes. Not move your head, but just your eyes as the butterfly moves and flutters around you. And as we do this, what we're doing is we're engaging the phrenic nerve that is connected to your cervical vertebrae. And this nerve helps also innervates and invigorates the diaphragm. And it causes us to just have our breath emerge however it needs to naturally. And maybe you switch hands as you do it. Yes. And oftentimes when we're in a trauma response, or when the nervous system is just feeling very heightened, maybe you're in hyperarousal, we begin to have tunnel vision, and our vision becomes very narrow. So if we allow our eyes to just organically move around, it actually can bring safety into our nervous system and just allow it to just enhance our well-being. And I just want you to notice as you do this, what's emerging for you physically and emotionally. As your butterfly flies around front and back, maybe it flies a little bit behind your head, and I know your eyes can't go back there, but I just want you to imagine behind your head, which actually will relax the eyeballs. Beautiful. Okay. And when you're done, you can allow your butterfly to just land. And I just want you to check in with your learning brain. How does your learning brain now? Did it shift anything inside of you? Maybe it activated something where it makes you ready, and maybe you believe in yourself a little bit more. And I just want you to feel into that. Oh, beautiful. Jen says she feels more open. I love it. All right. And when you're ready, just take another deep breath in, and you can shake your body out. If you want, you can make weird faces to loosen up those facial muscles. Maybe you need to sway from side to side. Whatever your body's telling you to do, go ahead and do it. And Blair says she feels relaxed, grounded, and centered. I love it. All right. So now we're going to dive in. And this week's class is, Jen said that I need to start a new program, Mornings with Kelly. Actually, I think that might be a good idea. I'm going to consider that. Oh, I love it. Oh, so cool. All right, so this week's class is about leadership, and we're going to talk about what flow state leadership actually is versus what we have been told for so many years what we are supposed to believe it is. So when people hear the word leadership, they often think of, I have to take charge, I got to do more, I have to be strong, consistent, I got to show up no matter what state I might be in, even if I'm sick, or maybe my mental well-being is feeling very low. No matter what, I have to show up. And the truth is this is what we've been conditioned to believe. We, just with jobs, even in our homes, growing up, our parents would tell us, because they might be in a hurry, so they tell us, hurry, you've got to do this. It can happen a lot in sports as a child, where maybe your body is just saying, I just don't want to do this. As a projector, I experienced that a lot, especially playing soccer. I would wake up and just be exhausted, and my dad would tell me, you have to show up. You dedicated yourself to this team. You have to be there. And I really believed it. But the truth is I didn't have to be anywhere. What I should have done was honor my body, but I had never been taught how to do that. So these are not what real leadership is. Real leadership is very much energetic. And so when we talk about the flow state of leadership, this means that you lead by timing. You lead by resonance, by rhythm. You can lead by your intuition, by clarity, by alignment. All of these things are very energetic. But First and foremost, the most important thing above all else, you need to lead yourself first. So flow state leadership is the art of really just moving when the path opens and staying still when the path is closed. And we need to learn how to stay still without guilt, panic, or self-judgment. It's really honoring the flow of how the universe moves, how nature moves, how our own creativity moves, how our intuitive timing moves, but most importantly, just how our body moves. And when we start to really understand and embody this, life stops feeling like we're constantly in fight or having to push against something. So I want to talk about the 3 windows of divine timing. And as many of you know, divine timing isn't random. It just doesn't all of a sudden happen. It moves in really these 3 predictable windows. So let's talk about window 1. Window 1 is known as the opening. And this opening is something that we oftentimes really have to pay attention to, which is why connecting with the body and connecting with our nervous system, because it's going to be our system that's going to give us that information, we have to really connect because energy rises in a very subtle way. We might have ideas starting to appear. Maybe when we're out and about and we're talking to people, conversations start to align. Maybe your intuition starts to perk up a little bit, however that responds in your body. So some signs of opening could be synchronicities. I have a friend who is so connected to numbers, and every time she sees 111, 222, 333, or any number combination, maybe it's 2424, she always texts me with so much excitement because she knows that for her is an indication that something will start to open up. Synchronicity could be, as you know, the saying is, being in the right place at the right time. Again, divine timing isn't random, but maybe it's talking to that one person out of a group of people that may be presenting you an opportunity. It's also about noticing how your curiosity starts to spark. Are we asking more questions? Are you researching more stuff online because you suddenly got this urge that you want to understand more about something? Maybe it's that feeling of excitement that you get in your body where it just feels like things are flowing. And that leads into, clarity coming just all of a sudden popping in. It could be that you've been thinking about something, working on something, it hasn't quite clicked, and then the next morning, maybe you're up making your morning coffee, and all of a sudden, bam, you're like, wait a minute, now I got it. I totally understand it. That's a sign of stuff that's of that opening. And again, people or opportunities showing up as an opening. And again, really going into our body, and when your body feels open, or it feels like it's moving forward, that's another indication of opening. I know that when stuff starts to open, I get kind of like that little excitement feeling inside, and it's almost like I feel my body, just the energy of it just kind of pulling me forward, gently, not, yanking me forward, but this gentle movement of forward. And it's important to understand that this is not the moment that we just rush right into action. And oftentimes that's what we do. We're like, oh, there's an opening, I gotta jump. But it's not about that jump. It's just a moment of just paying attention. Your body is telling you, it just start to pay attention to what's opening and what's coming for you. Okay, so window number 2 is the channel. And this is where insight really starts to drop in. It might be a creative stream. It might be what we call those intuitive downloads. Maybe you get information or it pops in of what just the next step is. So signs of that channel window is, again, ideas start coming really easily. Maybe you sit down and you start to write it, and all of a sudden these beautiful ideas start to flood in. Maybe it's something of an idea that came in during the opening window, but you hadn't had a chance to quite articulate it yet. And then that articulation starts to come and things start to, you start to understand things a little more clearly. This is when intuition will start to feel louder. So those subtle little nudges you were getting in the body might start being more of a little bit of a gentle push. And then again, your nervous system will start to feel more awake and safe. Remember, we can't think that we really have to pay attention. We can't confuse the nervous system activating nervous system activation. We have to understand that. Because nervous system activation can mean we're either moving into something unsafe or towards safety. So we need to be able to discern which is which is why paying attention to your body is so important. So the idea of the nervous system feeling awake is not moving towards unsafety. It really is that flow towards feeling safe and calm in the body. And then you just feel connected, and not just connected to the idea of what's going to appear, but you start feeling really connected. Mind, body, and soul connection. Maybe it's having better connections within your relationships, a better connection with yourself, but you just start feeling connected to things. Maybe it's nature, whatever it is, you will start to feel that pull of just coming together. So this is where you want to kind of outline, map, or start receiving that clarity. And of course, I always recommend writing it down. But just kind of notice that. How did I notice that this was starting, that I was receiving and I was becoming this channel? How is my body reacting? You know, when it started to open, what synchronicities was I receiving? What is it that I can explain now that I couldn't yesterday? And again, this is not a sprint. We're not diving in head first. It's really all about alignment and understanding how that alignment works with your flow. So window 3 is now the action slide. Oftentimes we want to go from window number 1 to window number 3, but that center piece, that middle window is really important for us to take time and be with. But when we get to window 3, now we get to take action. And this is the moment where everything, and I know this happens to everyone, where all of a sudden it just all clicks. Whatever it is that you're seeking or that you're needing, suddenly it clicks. It's almost like the universe has now opened that path. It is nice and smooth. Tasks feel really easy instead of taxing on the body. Things start to actually move a little bit quicker than what they were moving before. And so the signs of this action slide is that energy starts to rise naturally. Again, tasks get completed with ease and not becoming metabolically taxing on the body. We start to see that momentum build. I always love when momentum is building. That's when I get really excited because I can feel it and see it. So momentum starts to build. All of a sudden, support starts to appear. And then we get to start seeing those results, those true results that are done through alignment and flow versus that go, 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 hustle, hustle, hustle. I have to be productive, push, 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 push. And the results that come up from alignment and flow are actually better results that are more sustainable and long lasting than that push. And you'll also notice the difference because you will feel it. Action, again, flows where there is almost, I'm going to say almost zero resistance, because in all reality, we need a little bit of resistance so that we feel challenged to keep going. Not challenged in the way where it feels like a struggle and again, we become overwhelmed. But that, to me, it's that fun challenge of, oh, I'm going to do this. I can totally do this. So again, I just want to reiterate, the biggest mistake that people make is really trying to take action during that opening window or even in that second window of that integration phase before just allowing that stuff to just really come up and move with that flow. And then the second biggest mistake is just when it's time to take action, ignoring it completely. And this happens a lot for people, and this is why I always talk about it, the importance of really understanding your nervous system and healing your nervous system, because oftentimes we do move through those windows, we're listening, we're experiencing it, but if we don't come from a healthy state of our nervous system, that action slide opens up and then we freeze. Or we get stuck in analysis paralysis and we don't actually move forward. So remember that flow, especially when it comes in, when we're talking about the leadership that we are moving into for ourselves. That flow is a dance. It's not something that we demand. It's this beautiful harmonic flow. All right, does anybody have any questions about that? All right. Oh, wait. Okay. Everybody is all good. Okay, so we'll keep going. So I want to talk now about, sorry, my nose is itching. Give me a second. I want to talk about the 4 leadership archetypes of flow. So everyone leads their life through a dominant flow archetype. It doesn't mean that you can't experience the other ones, but oftentimes, just in general, when we usually have dominance in one area versus the other. But again, we can shift and move throughout these different 4 types. And each archetype, it's really important for us to know that they have strengths, but they also have shadow patterns, right? What would life be without duality and polarity? And the important thing is to realize that all of them, all of the strengths and all of the shadows within these archetypes are needed. Because that's what helps us grow and expand into our own leadership. Okay, so the first one is the weaver. And the weaver is somebody who sees patterns in everything, knows how pieces fit together, and oftentimes, because they are so attuned to different patterns, whether that's behavioral patterns, it could be nature patterns, it could be energetic patterns, however those patterns appear to them, they oftentimes will they receive timing cues a lot earlier than the other archetypes. But here's the shadow side of this, is that because they see and experience patterns so quickly, it can lead into overthinking, so that rumination that sometimes we get. It can turn into always planning but never executing. And just being stuck in that, I kind of call it the phase, like the hamster wheel phase, where you're constantly running on the hamster wheel of that overthinking, that overplanning, perfectionism, making sure that everything works, and we forget to get off so we can actually do what it is that we're wanting to do. Okay. So I'm going to tell you my dominant is the weaver. I just naturally see and identify patterns very quickly in people and places and things and conversations. My brain picks up on those. But I oftentimes do fall into that overthinking or planning forever because I want to plan it to be perfect before I execute it. And so I can fall into that. So I really have to pay attention to that shadow side. Okay, so the second archetype is the conductor. And the conductor is someone who knows exactly how to organize ideas, people, could be events, timing. They really hold the rhythm of a project or a season or anything that involves around organizing things. I have a friend who is an excellent organizer of people. And when she's an old coworker that I had, and when she had meetings, she could have a meeting of 100+ people, and somehow she was able to be the conductor of that meeting and organize everybody and keep everybody in the flow and in the perfect timing. And I used to tell her, I'm like, you really know how to herd the cats, is what I used to always tell her. But she was very good at this. But the shadow side that comes with the conductor that I would see in her is, instead of really allowing flow to happen, I would watch her control the timing instead of following it. Meaning that instead of just allowing the timing to flow naturally, she would come up with these really hard stops, cutting off people right in the middle of what they were saying because she was controlling the time. And so what happens is that as the conductor, you might become the clock watcher. Your thinking or way of seeing things in regards to time can become really rigid, and when I'm talking about linear. So another good example, she's probably going to hate me for saying all of this, but she's just such a good example of this, is that I know that, like, for example, when Christmas time comes, she has a particular day that she puts the tree up. She has the entire day organized of how long she has to put the tree up. Like the whole day is planned. Then the next thing is decorating the house. And remember, conductors can get so caught up in the timing of things and not allowing the actual natural rhythm to flow that they just, again, become very rigid. So something to just kind of be cautious about if you are the conductor. If you find that clock or that calendar constantly running your life, it's good to kind of take a step back. Okay, so the third archetype is the channel. And the channel might be the one who it's just like that step number 2 in the flow of what we were talking about for leadership, but it might be you get downloads and insights all the time. Clarity just comes easy to you. You can look at something or receive something and actually see the vision of it. You may be the person that maybe you're sitting at dinner and all of a sudden you start intuitively receiving the next steps of how everything needs to go. Which sounds very good, but the shadow side of that is it can lead to inconsistent action. It could lead to having way too many ideas, that your system becomes overloaded or overwhelmed. It could be getting that excitement of getting that download that comes in, and instead of waiting for the flow of that timing, that you put it into action too soon, and there was still more that was needed to put it out there. Okay, and now the fourth one is the catalyst. And the catalyst is the type that moves very quickly and powerfully when aligned. They don't stop to really think about, well, what am I going to do next? They just know, they move, they move through it. They're aligned, they're in the flow. Momentum, or creating that momentum, comes really effortlessly. And so they are a little bit more of the go, go, go type of person, like let's make things happen. But the shadow side is burnout, or forcing timing when the timing is not perfectly aligned for it to happen. Burnout is probably the biggest one that hits with the catalyst. And now, remember, you most likely will see yourself in more than one of those, but we do have a dominant one. And that dominant one is that one that feels like home. And oftentimes we don't know that it's dominant because we just naturally fall into that. And it's very easy for us. So knowing your archetype actually helps you lead yourself in flow instead of fighting against your natural rhythm. Okay, so now we're going to do an exercise. And you don't have to write anything down. I just want you to just feel into this and just experience it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say each of the archetypes out loud. And when I say the one that feels most like you, I just want you to take a few minutes to just feel what that feels like in your body. And I really want you to connect with your body, because some of these things might feel really subtle because you've never actually taken the time to pay attention to them. So go ahead, you can close your eyes, do a soft gaze. Maybe you just want to stare off into the horizon. And I want you to see if you are the weaver. Just feel into that. Are you the conductor? How about the channel? And then lastly, the catalyst. Which one of those made you just kind of feel like it pulled you forward, or the energy came out forward? Which one just softened the body? Or maybe when I said one, you instantly had recognition and it was like, oh, that's it. I know for a fact that's it. And if you want, I would love to hear what you guys are. If you want to put it in the chat or not, it's up to you. However you feel comfortable. And then I'll give you a little bit more tidbit about who you are before I share about the other ones, if you guys want to. Oh, perfect. So Blair is the channel and the weaver. She says she can do conducting, but it's not her forte. Blair, I can totally see that with you. And Jen says, I'm for sure the channel. I get the vision and jump in with both feet before waiting for all of the information. I love it. Okay. Perfect. So here I'm going to give you guys just a little micro instructions for your archetype. So Blair, you are the channel. So before acting, one of the best things to do is to really anchor that idea first in your body and then in just one single step before moving over. Oh, Jen, you are also the channel, so this is for you. So before you act, really allow it to feel in and anchor into the body. And then all you need is just one single step forward. And then it'll start to catch that momentum because now you're putting that into the flow. And then as the weaver, like I am, and you are too, Blair, you said, before acting, it's really important for us to name the pattern and then identify the opening of that pattern before acting. So I can speak from my own experience. I identify patterns so quickly that I oftentimes don't even realize that I'm identifying them. And I used to, and now I've been starting to take a step back, is I would just jump into it. It was almost like, even though I identified it, logically I was ignoring it. And so I would jump into it without waiting for the opening, for the pattern of that opening to really open up, for me to gently step into it. And then Blair, you said you can do conducting, but it is not your forte. So with the conductor, before acting, we want to wait for that spark of intuition to really, again, land in the body before we just start guiding. And then lastly, which none of us are here on this call, is the catalyst. So before acting, we want to make sure that we regulate and ensure alignment feels really, really clean before stepping in and taking that action. And so archetypes can actually turn into our own behavioral patterns. Does anybody have any questions about any of that?
So I'm a little bit curious.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds to me the way you're talking that it's what we're talking about doing is really more for us because what my experience of these things has been people that I'm around, even as a child, they just know I can do certain things and I do them. I just happen to do them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on rare occasion, what happens is somebody says, well, how do you know? Or how did you know, like they're asking questions about it. So that would be when I would naturally answer, oh, well, here's the pattern. This is what's happening. Or how do you know that? For example, how do you know when to go and talk to the person or what have you? And then I can articulate the pattern. So you're saying do that for yourself.
Mm-hmm. So all of this is about really coming into ourselves, right? A lot of times we're really good at recognizing stuff in other people,
Mm-hmm.
but what we fail to do is really recognize it in ourselves because it can feel so naturally, right? So I'll use an example. Until I actually started to like go in and really recognize myself, people would I would struggle as, you know, Larry, you probably understand this, having your business, right? And people are like, well, what are your gifts? And you're like, well, and then it's kind of like you start to try to explain them, but you're actually, if you hear yourself, you're explaining them as if you were looking at somebody else's gift and trying to align it with yours, because that natural alignment can be really hard. Like usually our gifts, we just naturally fall into them. It's not some magical thing that we have to conjure up to make happen. our gifts and that just what we're intuitively good at is completely natural. But what's really important is instead of just allowing that, and I'm not saying that just allowing them to naturally happen is bad, but the more that we understand those patterns within ourselves. So for example, somebody comes up and they're like, Blair, I just need you to take care of this event for me. You're like, sure, no problem, put it together. Within 15 minutes, it's done. And then I come back and I'm like, well, how did you do that? And you're like, I don't know, it's just really easy. I just kind of did this, this, and this. But usually what we're sharing is just, I'm going to say it's not necessarily the essence of who we are archetypally. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're answering in a way that it's not the best articulation, but you're kind of answering in a way that they can understand. Mm-hmm. So they've created like, I see it as like a subset. It's a smaller frame of the flow, and then there's been an opening and you're like, okay, so this is what goes in that puzzle piece, when that's not really the whole puzzle. It's just, this is the puzzle piece for your question.
Yeah. So and it just made me realize that, like, like when people come and they ask you to do it and then you're like, yeah, I just kind of fall into it and I do it, because you're like, well, where does that opening? So remember, like, synchronicities could happen. That opening could very well be the person that's asking for it. Do you know what I'm saying? And we just don't think about it. But the more that we really do align with our body, like our body and our internal system is so precious and can be so precise if we allow it to be that way and for us to listen to it. But we have learned as a society to not trust our bodies. It's almost like we've been conditioned to think that the information that we receive from our bodies is lying all the time. And that's not true. So what happens is we look for that recognition in everything outside of ourselves. So if we can go in and really see, like, what does it mean to be the weaver? Here are the shadow sides. So if I start overthinking things, I know that I'm in that shadow. And what I need to do is trust myself, trust my body, and give it a space of rest, so that I'm totally speaking for myself, because when I get in that overthinking pattern, my entire body activates and it's just like da, 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 and I can feel my adrenaline start rushing. For me, in the moment that, as much as I am an adrenaline junkie, the moment that adrenaline starts to really start pumping is now I know that that's really a signal that my body is saying, you're starting to go into overload or override. I just need to pull it back. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
It does. Okay. And I'm kind of drawing a parallel with I think it's a channel one where you get a download and you're like, oh, I need to do all this, when in reality it may just be a download that hasn't ripened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly. Yes. So really what we're learning is that our natural flow state is not what we've been conditioned to go, 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 hustle, hustle, hustle. Our natural flow state is actually very, I don't want to say very slow, but it really does have this nice, gentle flow to it, rather than this, like, we're in the middle of the sea during a storm, which is what we've been taught. It really does have this natural flow. So the key is, especially if we're stepping into our own leadership, is what is my own natural flow? Not what everybody else tells me it is. What is mine? And remember, we're all unique. Like, our systems are 100% unique to us. So my flow will not match necessarily your flow. So when we're always looking outside of ourselves and trying to seek everything else to better understand us, which is a natural thing for us to do, we can get that information, but we need to bring it in and really measure it up to, is this true? Is this really how I flow? Am I forcing what somebody else says that flow has to be versus what my unique body and architecture really, how it's really built? Does that make sense?
It does, but I will say that at least for me, and I don't know, maybe you have something else to add to this, but
Mhm.
because time is what we're how we're experiencing the world, I find that to know that I'm in that state of flow requires interaction with other people. So I'll give a very rudimentary example in the sense that, I have an idea or I have an intuitive hit, and then maybe okay, so I get grounded in it and then I mention it to the person. Okay, and then it falls on flat ears and that person doesn't like it or they have a negative response.
Mhm.
That's my indication. Oh, that didn't work. That's not, maybe I wasn't aligned with it as much as I thought I was.
Or maybe just a reframe. Maybe that wasn't the timing of it.
That's what I mean. Yes.
Okay.
Right. So like if I say that I'm ground. I don't, it's kind of hard to articulate all this stuff, but I'm kind of grounded in whatever the intuitive hit is, and then I say something or I take action, and you get that response. Yes, exactly. It's not that that information that came through was incorrect.
Mhm.
The application of it wasn't perfect. And so what
Yeah.
I'm saying is the other person's or the other people's response or the environment or whatever it is giving me feedback to say,
Yes.
okay, yes, this is right. Okay, no, that's not just right.
So, okay, I think you touched on an important point. So, one of the things, especially like in human design, is we look to the external world as the mirror for feedback, but we're not looking to the external world as in the means of it's going to control my life.
Yeah.
The external world is really a feedback loop of what's going on inside. So
Right.
I think there's a difference of when we're constantly seeking outside validation for ourselves versus that actual feedback piece. Because there's a difference between if when I'm looking outside for all of that validation, a lot of times it is not who we are. So if we look at it as a mirror of just a feedback loop coming back to us, then we have because it's going to bounce right back to us internally. That is where the validation comes from. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes,
Okay. Did that help?
yes.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. So I want to do another fun exercise, and you can journal this if you want, or you could just allow like if you want to process it in your head, however you want to do it, however it works for you. I'm going to leave it up to you. But what I want to do is I want to check the energetic weather report of where you're at right now. So you could do it like, again, you can close your eyes, you can do it with the soft gaze, looking in the horizon, whatever works for you. And I want this to be fun. So I don't want this to be like, oh, I have to know this or force anything. I just want it to be fun. And you're going to read your energetic weather report for today. And when we read our energetic weather report, this helps us to know how we can lead ourselves for the day, what actions are aligned, what actions need that pause. It'll help us know what the field is actually doing all around us, and how to attune your timing to life itself. And life itself is your life, not what everybody else is doing. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to read some things off to you, and all I want you to do is just rate them between 1 and 10. 1 being the lowest on that scale, 10 being like, woo, yes, this is how I'm feeling. So good. Okay? The first one is openness. Clarity. Creativity. Social energy. physical energy, emotional availability, intuition, motivation, and then last, resistance. And now that you have your scale written down for each of those, I just want you to feel into it. And even so, you can just kind of add to it is I want you to answer what feels alive today. Not for the next day, for tomorrow in the future, but just for today. What feels alive today? And then the next question is, what feels dead or kaput? What is just like, bleh? And then what feels neutral? And then if today had a theme, what would it be? And then right now in this moment for today, what action feels like flow? And then what action feels like force? And then just take a look at your list, or like I said, if you did it in your mind, just kind of look at it. And this is your leadership forecast. You lead with energy of the day, not against it. And part of the key thing is you lead with energy of the day, not what energy am I going to need tomorrow? What was my energy yesterday? What energy am I going to need in a week? All that matters is the energy that you lead for the day. And then you honor that. Okay. So we're going to just kind of talk about the mechanics of flow. And as we've been stating, flow isn't random. Flow does have rules, both universal rules and personal rules. So flow rule number 1 is what is alive will grow. Flow rule number 2 is what is forced will collapse. Rule number 3 is what feels open will support us. Rule number 4 is What feels heavy is not aligned for today. And today is the key. So kind of going back to what you were talking about, Blair, you get a download in and maybe you talk to that person's like, no. And that in that no, there's heaviness. It may not just be aligned for today. And then rule number 5 is your body feels timing before your mind actually interprets it. That's why having that connection to your body is so important. And again, this is truly leadership that's rooted in energetic literacy and not that hustle, 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 go, go, go. I have to be productive. I have to type of logic.
Can you repeat those, the rules?
Sure. Rule 1 is what is alive will grow. Actually, here, you know what? I do have them written down here, so give me a second. I'm going to put them in I'll put them in the chat for you. Is that better?
That's great. Thanks.
Okay, and then I will repeat them one more time. There you go. Okay, so one more time. Rule 1, what is alive will grow. Rule 2 is what is forced will collapse. Rule 3 is what feels open will support us. Rule 4 is what feels heavy is not aligned today. And rule 5 is your body feels timing before the mind interprets it. All right, so we're going to do a flow state activation. And what I want you to do is I just want you to get comfortable, but I also want you to sit with your spine nice and centered and aligned. And you can go ahead and close your eyes. And I just want you to take a deep breath in, an even longer exhale, and then allow your breath to just go to its natural state. And I just want you to sit with it just for a little bit. Connect with it, flow with it. Just be present with the breath. And now, as your breath continues to move in and out with that natural rhythm, I want you to allow your breath to just now connect with the presence of your body. And as you connect with the body, I then just want you to do an intuitive check-in. And that can be as simple as saying, what do I need to know? And I want you to hear it, feel it, experience it, however it comes to you. No judgment, just allow it to come in and just allow it to just anchor into the body. Okay. And then taking just a deep breath in to anchor it in, and a long exhale out. I just want you to ask, what is one aligned micro action that I can do that is connected to the information that you received? A micro action, not a big, giant action, but a very micro action. And the reason that I say micro is for two reasons. One, it helps us realize that even just the slightest step forward can be enough to create that opening that we need. And a micro action is enough, especially if we have a very activated nervous system, or maybe one that is on overload. A micro action is very simple and easy metabolically on our body and our nervous system. And I did go through that kind of quickly, but if you want to do this, I call it the 4-minute flow switch. The breath, you give 1 minute. Just allowing for being in the energy of presence is 1 minute. The intuitive check-in is 1 minute. And then the aligned micro action is just 1 minute. All right, so we're going to do another one, and this is called the channel clearing. And it's really just about shaking your hands, allowing the hands to shake. Sorry, I'm shaking my computer on my desk, so I'm a little wobbly. But when we shake the hands are really good because we have a lot of nerve endings that come into the fingertips. And this is actually massaging those nerve endings that are clearly, connected to our nervous system. So just shaking the hands. And when that feels good and it starts to feel like maybe that stagnant energy or whatever it is in your system is starting to relax, the next thing we want to do is we want to roll the shoulders. But we want to roll the shoulders back. So we're going to just roll the shoulders back, doing as big of rolls as you can of what's comfortable for you. So rolling the shoulders back. And as we roll the shoulders back, what we're actually doing when they're in the back is we're opening up the chest. So we're going to roll it back and we're opening up the chest. And we're just allowing that. And also when we roll our shoulders, when we are activated in a hyper arousal state, these neck muscles actually tighten. And the reason they tighten is to pull our arms up for that fight. So we want to tell the body that it is calm. So we're going to roll the shoulders back, opening up the chest. And then one more, as we roll the shoulders back and open up the chest, I just want you to take a deep breath in, and we're breathing in clarity. So roll the shoulders back, deep breath in. And just allow that long exhale of breathing in clarity. And then just notice, how does my body feel? Maybe your body really likes that. I do that in the morning when I wake up. I roll the shoulders back and I just open up the chest and breathe. I have a tendency to walk around like this with the stress, my shoulders to my ears. So I really want to, in the morning, start my morning with just rolling back the shoulders, pulling them away from the ears and opening that chest. All right. So here's the next ritual, and this is called the timing test. And I really want you to pay attention to how your body immediately responds to this one question. and you can say it out loud. Actually, it is preferred that you say it out loud because we're using that energy to speak it out. And the question is this aligned right now? And feel the response in the body, the immediate body response. And just notice it. Don't judge it. It's just to notice. And it really is that simple. We oftentimes, as human beings, want to try to overcomplicate it. And so simplicity is actually something that really does help our body. It helps us learn our body. And it really does help our nervous system. Like I said, a lot of times we make things so complex that it really does kind of start to erode the nervous system in the way that it communicates to us. And then the fourth ritual, which you may not be able to do right now, this is called the momentum catch. When energy starts to arise, just stop. Stop everything and just allow yourself to ride that wave that you're experiencing. Because that's kind of where that magic is at, right? Right when that energy is rising. And what we do, because we've been so entrained to do this, is we override it. And the minute that we override it, we can miss an opportunity. We then put extra stress on our mind, our body, and our soul. But just start noticing when that energetic wave starts to rise, and just stop and allow yourself to ride that wave, however that looks. Do you guys have any questions about any of those fun little rituals, activation rituals? Is there one in particular that your body responded like a heck yeah to? Or maybe it was none of them and I need to bring a whole new list.
No, I think all of them.
Yeah.
For me, I think the channel clearing the shoulders and stuff, I think I do that, but maybe I do it in a different way.
Okay.
But I think the other ones totally, I like the last one I really like because I don't know, to me some of that feels like it's it's almost like the shadows coming in and say, oh, go ahead, take action, when that's not really what you need to do. You still need to pull back and just pause. Like you said, write it instead of doing the things. And I feel like I think that's a good example of how checking in with other people, whether it really is to get feedback or if it's like you're looking for confirmation or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it doesn't work as well, because you don't slow down to ride the wave.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
I
And
liked the "Is this aligned right now?"
so simple, right?
Yeah,
Yet so powerful.
yeah,
I love it. Did you feel your body have an immediate body response to that?
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a good day. It's a good day.
Yes. Oh, I love
Things
it.
are
I
aligned
love it.
today.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, so simple. We really do not have to make things so complicated because we think complicated means more. And the saying, and I know you probably have heard the saying, but like less is more. That really is part of the flow of what we're to live by. But we have been taught that, again, the more you do, more, the better it is. And that's not true, because the more that we compound all these things on ourselves, we actually cover up, or it begins to dilute what that, like, honestly, that little sweet spot that's within our body and how it's talking to us. And I always think of it this way: the more complex we do when we pile stuff on top, the more we muffle what our body is, because our body's under that, and the more that you put on top of it, the harder it is to hear it. I have another fun exercise for you guys to do, because we are coming to a close and we have 10 minutes. I don't know if you guys have a few minutes to stick around just in case we go over, but would you guys like to do this? This will really align you. And it's fun too. So, okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to take your fingers and I want you to interlace them with even the thumbs on top. And you're going to naturally do it one way. And I want you to just, with your hands interlace, just take a deep breath in. And remember, we always want to do the long exhales out. And I want you to really notice, how does this feel with my fingers, with my hands like this? Is it comfortable? Are your hands kind of sticky? Is it a little hot? I just want you to pay attention to it. And now switch. And when we switch, the thumb that was underneath the other thumb will go now to the top. And we're just going to do a little reset. So take a deep breath in. Long exhale out. And now I want you to notice how that feels. For me, it is very weird feeling. But I just want you to notice how it feels. Perfect. Now, go ahead and put your hands back to the way it originally was, the comfortable way. And now what we're going to do is we're going to bring the hemispheres of the brain together. And so what you're going to do is you're going to start with the thumb, the top of your thumb, and you're just going to do figure eights with it. Just have fun with it. Maybe you got really big figure eights. Maybe it's just kind of little ones. Doesn't matter. Just do those figure eights. And I want you to feel how the energy in your arms flow. Maybe you feel it going down your back. Maybe it's flowing up your neck. Maybe you're feeling your body just open. And this is really the hemispheres of the brain coming together and starting to communicate. All right. So now bring your hands back into the center. And this time we're going to allow our pinkies to lead. And so we're going to do figure eights with the pinkies. Just allow it again to flow. Maybe you notice that you like the other way better. For me, I feel like I'm trying to hit like a home run when I do this. But I just want you to feel it. Just notice it. Because none of this is about judgment. It's all just about awareness. All right. Now bring your hands back into the center. Take a deep breath in. Long exhale out. And now switch the interlacing of the hands. And now on this one, we're going to do the same thing. I want you to do figure eights with it. So we're going to do the figure eights. Was it a little hard to get started? Did you start to go before you sat in the energy to make it go? And this is the fun part. And part of it is the other way, we get so used to doing things in our particular way that what happens is we've kind of stopped our learning of how our body goes. Okay, now you're going to bring it back. Take a breath in. And guess what? We're going to do pinkies now. So now we do the pinkies in the figure eights. But when we take time to kind of, interrupt our regular routine to do something a new way, it brings those hemispheres together and we start creating new neural pathways, which then helps us, and you guys can go ahead and stop so you don't run all the blood out of your arms, and just take a breath. But again, it opens up new neural pathways, which then gives us other opportunities for that flow and that alignment to happen so that we don't always get stuck in this rigid way. And it just takes a few minutes. And then I'll give you one more before we close. So another one, if you're ever in a meeting or you're just sitting there, I used to do this all the time because I would start to zone out. I'm not the best in meetings because what I would start to hear would be like, wah, 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 wah. And the moment that I'd start to hear that wah, 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 I knew that like my brain was shutting off. So I would sit there. And this is actually a really good one too. So with one hand, put your pointy finger up. With the other hand, your thumb. And then just switch. Oops, see, I already messed it up. And then I'm going to switch back. And then switch. And keep doing it until you get into a flow. Clearly my flow is off. And then I'm going to switch. And then I'm going to switch. And you just do that until you get in your flow. And you know what? The part of it, because I love it, because I can see both of you guys laughing, like, it's fun to laugh. Like, we don't have to be so serious. And laughter actually sends those endorphins in the body to loosen up the body. But I would do that until I would get in the flow. And then I was like, okay, I'm ready to pay attention again. But it's some of these simple things that we can do that works with the brain that then can communicate to the body that this is fun, I'm safe. Oh, I kind of need to kind of get back with it again. Or maybe it's just a game. It truly doesn't matter. What matters is that it's just about how your flow goes. So I hope those were fun for you. I mean, probably don't sit in your meeting and go like this, but but you can sit there with your fingers and just, play around. So, all right. We're going to come to the close, and we're just going to do a closing attunement just to enter. We're going to enter into just back into the current of our flow. So go ahead and just close your eyes. And this is very much just energetic. It's not meant to be meditative. It's just to get the energy back into alignment. And so all I want you to do is I want you to imagine a river, however it works for you. Maybe you see it, maybe you feel it, you sense it. And I want you to experience this river as the current being very steady, alive, and very much intelligent. And I just want you to notice it. And now what I want you to do is I want you to step into it. And just experience the way that the current is flowing. How it's going around your body, or maybe how it's hitting up against your body. Or maybe it's just around your feet. That's the way you stepped in it and it's flowing around your feet. I just want you to notice. And as you become one with the essence of the flow of the water, you could say this out loud or to yourself. I move with the current of my life. I lead through rhythm and resonance. I act when the field opens. I rest when the field closes. I trust the timing that is already unfolding for me. And now just feel your energy aligning with the flow. And then when you're ready, You can just open up your eyes and come on back. All right. Give me 1 second.